Captain Zexthel stared at the long-range scanner display with all four of his eyes focused on the same point. The green dots on the screen showed his salvage fleet moving through the empty space between star systems. But there was something else there, something big. "Captain," called out his sensor operator, Vixtal, "we are picking up a large object. It is not moving, the readings are strange." Zexthel moved his tall, thin body across the bridge of his ship. His people, the HFY, had been salvaging old ships and space junk for many years. It was good business. Old technology could be sold to other races who needed parts or metals. But this reading was different from anything they had seen before. "How big is it?" Zexthel asked. "Very big, Captain. Maybe 3 kilometers long." It looks like a warship, but the design is not familiar. The metal readings are also very strange. I have never seen anything like this before. Zexthel felt his breathing slow down. 3 kilometers was huge for any ship. Most warships were only a few hundred meters long. Something that big would be worth more money than his entire fleet had ever found before. "Can you tell what race built it?" he asked. Vixtal worked at his controls for several minutes. The other crew members on the bridge stayed quiet. They all knew that finding something this big could make them all rich, but it could also be very dangerous. "The computer cannot match the design to any known race," Vixtal finally said. "But Captain, there is something else. The ship is very old. The computer thinks it has been here for over 200 years. 200 years was a long time in space. Most ships would be completely dead after floating in the void for that long. Their power systems would fail. Their hulls would crack from the cold, but this ship was still in one piece." "Any signs of life?" Zexthel asked. "No life signs, Captain. But there are some energy readings, very faint. It is like the ship is sleeping, not dead." Zexthel thought about this. A sleeping ship could mean many things. Maybe the crew was in some kind of frozen sleep. Maybe the ship's computer was still working, or maybe it was a trap. "Send a message to the other ships in our fleet," he ordered. "Tell them we have found something interesting. All ships should move closer, but stay ready to run if there is trouble." The HFY salvage fleet had 12 ships. Most of them were small and fast, designed to get in and out of dangerous places quickly. But they also had 2 bigger ships, with heavy cutting tools for breaking apart large objects. As they got closer to the mysterious ship, more details became clear. The hull was made of some kind of dark metal that seemed to absorb light. There were no windows or lights anywhere on the outside. The ship's shape was long and sharp, like a knife blade. It looked like it was built for war. "Captain," Vixtal sighed, his voice sounding worried. "I am getting more detailed scans now. This ship, it is not like anything we have ever seen. The hull is made of compressed matter, very dense, very strong. The weapon systems are enormous." "What kind of weapons?" "I cannot tell. The technology is too advanced for our scanners to understand." "But Captain, there are weapon ports all along the hull, hundreds of them." Zexthel felt a chill run through his body. A ship with hundreds of weapons was built to fight entire fleets. What kind of race would build something like this? "Any markings on the hull, letters or symbols?" Vixtal adjusted his scanners. "Yes, Captain. There are symbols on the side. The computer is trying to translate them now." They waited. The bridge was completely quiet except for the soft humming of the ship's engines. Finally, the computer made a soft beeping sound. "Translation complete," Vixtal said. "The symbols say UES Revenant, and below that it says Terran Defense Force." Zexthel had never heard of the Terran Defense Force, but he had heard stories about Terrans, humans. They were a race that had lived in this part of space many years ago. Then one day they had all disappeared. No one knew where they went or why they left. "Humans," he said quietly. "Captain?" Vixtal asked. "This is a human ship." The humans called themselves Terrans sometimes. They lived in this area of space long ago, before any of us were born. "But the humans are gone, Captain. They left this space over 100 years ago." "Yes, but they left this ship behind." Zexthel stared at the image of the human warship on his screen. It was beautiful in a deadly way. Every line of the ship spoke of power and danger. But if it had been floating here for 200 years, it should be safe to salvage. Bring us alongside, he ordered. But keep our distance. I want to send a small team aboard first. Captain, are you sure that is wise? We do not know anything about human technology. That is exactly why we need to learn. A ship this advanced could teach us many things, and the materials alone would be worth a fortune. The salvage fleet moved closer to the human warship. As they got near, they could see more details. The ship was in perfect condition. There was no damage to the hull. No signs of battle. It looked like it could start moving again at any moment. How is this possible? Asked Vixtel. No ship stays in perfect condition after 200 years in space. Maybe human technology is better than we thought, Zextel replied. They found an airlock on the side of the human ship. It was much larger than the airlocks on Kethver ships. Everything about this vessel was built on a bigger scale. Prepare a boarding team, Zextel ordered. 5 crew members with full environmental suits. Take cutting tools and scanning equipment. I want to know everything about this ship. Captain, should you not stay on our ship? It might be dangerous. I am going with the boarding team. I want to see this human technology for myself. The boarding team gathered in the airlock. Besides Zextel, there were 4 other Kethver crew members. All of them wore heavy environmental suits that would protect them from radiation, cold, and dangerous gases. They crossed from their ship to the human warship using a flexible tunnel. The human airlock was much more complex than anything they had seen before. It had multiple layers and scanning systems. Try to open it, Zextel ordered. One of his crew members, an engineer named Kolvex, examined the airlock controls. The symbols are different from ours, Captain. But I think I can figure it out. It took several minutes, but finally the outer door of the human airlock opened. They stepped inside and the door closed behind them. Then something unexpected happened. The airlock began to fill with breathable atmosphere. The ship is providing air for us, Kolvex said, checking his instruments. The atmosphere is safe to breathe. How can it do that? The ship has been dead for 200 years. Maybe it is not as dead as we thought, Captain. The inner airlock door opened, and they stepped into the human warship. What they saw amazed them. The corridors were wide and tall, built for beings larger than the Kethver. The walls were made of smooth metal that had a slight glow to it. Everything was clean and in perfect condition. This does not look like a ship that has been abandoned, one of the crew members said. They moved deeper into the ship. Their footsteps echoed in the wide hallways. They passed many doors, all of them sealed. Some had symbols on them that their translation devices could not understand. Captain, Vixtel's voice came through their communication system from their own ship. We are detecting some activity on the human ship. Energy levels are rising slowly. What kind of activity? It is hard to tell. It looks like computer systems are starting to work. Maybe our presence triggered something. Zextel stopped walking. Everyone stay alert. The ship might be responding to us being here. They continued exploring. The human ship was like a maze. There were dozens of levels and hundreds of rooms. They found what looked like crew quarters, but they were much larger than what most races would need. They found storage areas filled with equipment they could not identify. Captain, look at this, Kolvex called out. He was standing in front of a large screen on the wall. Symbols were moving across it in patterns they could not read. What is it? I think it is the ship's computer system. It is definitely active now. As they watched, the symbols changed. Slowly, they began to form patterns that their translation devices could understand. Warning appeared on the screen. Unauthorized personnel detected, initiating identification. Protocols. The ship knows we are here, Zextel said quietly. More text appeared on the screen. Species, unknown, intent, unknown, threat level, undetermined, awakening Guardian protocols. Guardian protocols? One of the crew members asked. What does that mean? Before anyone could answer, lights began turning on throughout the ship. They could hear the sound of machinery starting to work somewhere in the distance. The ship was coming to life around them. "Captain," Vixtal's voice came through their communication system again. "You need to get out of there. The ship's energy levels are rising fast. Something big is happening." But it was too late. As they turned to head back to the airlock, they found their path blocked. A wall of energy had appeared across the corridor, glowing with a soft blue light. They were trapped inside the human warship. And something told Zexel that the ship had wanted them to come inside. It had been waiting for visitors for 200 years. Now they were here, and the ship was waking up. The blue energy wall hummed softly in front of them. Zexel reached out carefully with one clawed finger to touch it. The moment his finger got close, a sharp pain shot through his hand and up his arm. "Do not touch it," he warned the others. "It will hurt you." Kovacs pulled out his scanning device and pointed it at the energy barrier. "Captain, this is not just a wall. It is some kind of force field, very advanced. I have never seen anything like it. Can we break through it?" "I do not think so. The energy levels are too high. If we tried to cut through it, we might damage our suits or hurt ourselves." Zexel looked around. The corridor stretched in both directions, but now there were energy barriers blocking both ways. They were trapped in a small section of the hallway. "Captain," Vixtal's voice crackled through their communication system. "What is your status?" "We can see energy building up all through the human ship." "We are trapped inside?" Zexel replied. "The ship has put up some kind of barriers. We cannot get back to the airlock. Should we try to cut you out?" "No, do not damage the ship yet. Let us see what it wants first." The lights in the corridor grew brighter. Then they heard a sound they had not expected. Footsteps. Someone or something was walking toward them through the ship. "Did you hear that?" whispered one of the crew members. "Yes," Zexel said quietly. "Everyone stay calm. Get your weapons ready, but do not shoot unless I tell you to." The footsteps got louder. They were coming from the direction deeper inside. The ship, heavy steps, like someone wearing metal boots? But that was impossible. The ship had been empty for 200 years. Then they saw a light moving in the darkness beyond the energy barrier. It was getting closer. The footsteps stopped, and a figure stepped into the light. It was tall, much taller than any of the Kethver. It wore what looked like armor made of the same dark metal as the ship's hull. But the strangest thing was its face. They could see through it like it was made of light instead of solid matter. "Greetings," the figure said in perfect Kethver language. "I am Captain Sarah Chun of the United Earthship Revenant. You are trespassing on human territory." Zexel stared at the figure. It looked like a human, but humans had solid bodies. Like most other races, this one seemed to be made of light and energy. "You are human?" he asked. "I was human," the figure replied. "Now I am something more. I am the guardian of this ship. But humans disappeared from this space long ago." "How? Can you still be here?" The figure that called itself Sarah Chun stepped closer to the energy barrier. Now they could see her more clearly. She had short hair and sharp features. Her eyes glowed with the same blue light as the energy walls. "My people did not disappear," she said. "We evolved. We became something better than flesh and blood. I have been waiting here for over 200 years, keeping watch." "Waiting for what? For someone to find this ship?" "For someone to wake me up. You see, the Revenant is not just a warship. It is a guardian. It was built to protect human colonies and human allies even after my people had moved beyond the need." "For our physical bodies," Kovacs stepped forward. "Are you a ghost?" Sarah Chun smiled, and her face became a little more solid for a moment. "Not a ghost. I am a digital consciousness. My mind was uploaded into the ship's computer systems before my physical body died. All of my memories, all of my knowledge, all of my personality. I am still me, just in a different form." "Why did you trap us here?" Zexel asked. "Because I need to understand who you are and why you are here. This ship contains very dangerous technology. I cannot let it fall into the wrong hands. We are salvagers. We found your ship floating in space. We thought it was abandoned. Nothing human is ever truly abandoned, Sarah Chun said. We always leave guardians behind. The energy barriers began to flicker and change. Instead of solid walls of light, they became more like windows. The Kethver could see through them now, but they still could not pass through. Your ship has been here for 200 years, Zexthel said. What have you been doing all this time? Waiting, watching, learning. I have been monitoring radio signals from across this part of the galaxy. I know about your people, the Kethver. I know about the other races that have moved into what used to be human space. I have been studying all of you. What did you learn? Sarah Chun began to walk along the corridor on the other side of the energy barrier. As she moved, the barriers moved with her, keeping the Kethver contained but allowing them to follow her. I learned that most of the new races are peaceful. They trade with each other. They try to solve problems without fighting. This is good. This is what my people hoped would happen when we left. They walked deeper into the ship. The corridors were full of strange equipment and screens showing information in human writing. Everything was perfectly maintained, as if the ship had crew, taking care of it every day. But I also learned about the threats, Sarah Chun continued. There are some races that are not peaceful, some that want to conquer others, some that would use this ship's technology to hurt innocent people. What kind of technology? Kovacs asked. They entered a large room filled with glowing panels and complex machinery. In the center was a raised platform with what looked like a command chair. This ship was humanity's most advanced creation, Sarah Chun said. It can travel faster than light in ways that other races have not discovered yet. It can become invisible to all known sensors. It can repair itself using materials from space dust and asteroids. She gestured to the walls around them. Now the Kethver could see that the walls were not solid. They were moving, flowing like liquid metal. The ship was alive in a way they had never imagined. The hull is made of programmable matter, Sarah Chun explained. It can change shape, become stronger or weaker as needed. The ship can grow new weapons or new rooms whenever it needs them. This is impossible, one of the crew members whispered. Nothing is impossible for humans who have had enough time to think about a problem, Sarah Chun replied. My people spent 1,000 years learning how to build ships like this. Why did humans leave this space? Zexthel asked. If you had technology like this, you could have ruled the entire galaxy. Sarah Chun sat down in the command chair. As she did, the entire room lit up with displays showing star maps, energy readings, and information streams. That is exactly why we left, she said. Power like this is dangerous. It changes people. It makes them think they are gods. My people decided that instead of ruling others, we would explore beyond this galaxy. We uploaded our minds into ships like this one and traveled to distant stars. But you stayed behind. Someone had to watch over what we left behind. There are 12 ships like this one, hidden throughout what used to be human space. Each one has a guardian like me. We are here to make sure that human technology is not misused. The ship began to move. Not through space, but the walls and floors shifted around them. The room they were in expanded, becoming larger and more complex. What is happening? Zexthel asked. The ship is showing you what it can do, Sarah Chun said. It is alive in a way it can think and learn and grow. It has been sleeping for 200 years, but now it is waking up because you are here. More displays appeared on the walls. They showed images of the Kethver salvage fleet outside. But they also showed something else. Other ships moving toward their location from different directions. Captain, Vixtal's voice came through their communication system. We are detecting other ships approaching, 3 of them. They are not Kethver designs. Sarah Chun stood up from the command chair. Her face became more serious. Pirates, she said, looking at the displays. They must have detected your ships and decided to investigate. They are hoping to find something valuable. Can they hurt our ships? Zexthel asked. Your ships are not well armed. These pirates have heavy weapons. They will destroy your fleet and take whatever they want from the wreckage. We have to warn our people. I'm already warning them, Sarah-chan said. The displays showed communication signals being sent to the HFY fleet. But your ships cannot outrun the pirates. They will be caught. Then we have to fight. Sarah-chan looked at him with glowing eyes. Your ships cannot fight 3 pirate vessels and survive. Then what can we do? For the first time since they had met her, Sarah-chan smiled a real smile. We can show these pirates why humans built ships like the Revenant. The energy barriers around the HFY dissolved. They were free to move around the ship. The ship is waking up completely now, Sarah-chan said. It has been waiting for a reason to protect innocent people again. Your salvage fleet will give it that reason. What do you need us to do? Stay here and watch. You are about to see what human technology can really do when it is used to protect others instead of conquer them. The entire ship began to hum with power. Lights raced along the walls like electric lightning. The HFY could feel the ship's engine starting up for the first time in 200 years. Outside, the pirate ships were getting closer to the HFY salvage fleet. They did not know that they had just made a very big mistake. They had woken up a human warship. Sarah-chan moved to the center of the command room. As she walked, the floor beneath her feet began to glow. Lights spread out from where she stepped, connecting to every wall and surface in the room. Computer, she said in a clear voice. Full. Awakening protocol. Prepare all systems for combat operations. A voice answered her, but it did not come from any speaker the HFY could see. It seemed to come from the ship itself, from the walls and the air around them. Good morning, Captain Chun. It has been 247 years, 156 days, 8 hours, and 23 minutes since last activation. How may I serve you? We have hostile vessels approaching friendly salvagers. 3 pirate ships, heavy weapons, moving to attack position. I am authorizing defensive action. Understood, Captain. Initiating combat protocols. Shall I wake the crew? Zexthel looked around in confusion. What crew? I thought you were alone on this ship. Sarah-chan turned to him. Her form was becoming more solid now, more real-looking. I am not alone. I never was. This ship carries the preserved consciousness of my entire crew. 300 of the best human soldiers, engineers, and officers who ever lived. The room around them began to change. What had looked like empty walls now showed doors and passages that had not been there before. The ship's interior was reorganizing itself, creating new spaces and new functions. Wake them up, Sarah-chan ordered. All around the ship, lights began to appear. Not just the cold blue lights they had seen before, but warm lights in many colors. The HFY could hear sounds now, voices speaking in human languages. Footsteps. Walking through corridors that had been empty moments before. Captain, Vixdala's voice came through their communication system. Something very strange is happening to that human ship. It is changing shape. And there are energy readings like nothing we have ever seen. Through the room's displays, they could watch what was happening outside. The Revenant was transforming. Parts of the hull were shifting and moving. New weapon systems were emerging from what had looked like smooth metal surfaces. The ship was becoming something designed for war. The pirates are almost in range of your fleet, Sarah-chan said, watching the tactical displays. They will start shooting in approximately 4 minutes. Can you stop them? I can do better than stop them. I can teach them why humans built ships like this. More figures began to appear in the command room. Like Sarah-chan, they looked like humans made of light and energy. But each one was different, with different faces and different expressions. They moved to control stations throughout the room. Reporting for duty, Captain, said one of them, a tall man with short gray hair. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, ready. To serve. Welcome back, Jackson. How do you feel? Like I just woke up from a very long dream. What is our situation? Sarah-chan gestured to the displays showing the approaching pirate ships. 3 hostile vessels preparing to attack innocent salvagers. We are going to remind them why attacking defenseless ships is a bad idea. More crew members appeared. A woman with dark skin and bright eyes took a position at what looked like a weapons control station. Commander Rodriguez reporting, Captain. Weapon systems are coming online. All primary and secondary batteries ready. A young man with red hair appeared at another station. Chief Engineer Murphy here, Captain. Engines are at full power. The ship feels good, real good. Zexthel watched in amazement as the command room filled with human consciousnesses. They all looked real, but he could see through them slightly. They moved and spoke like living people. But they were something else entirely. How is this possible? He asked Sarah-chan. When humans face extinction, we do not just give up and die, she replied. We find ways to continue. My crew and I uploaded our minds into the ship's computer systems before our bodies died. We became part of the ship itself. But why? Why did you choose to become like this? Because someone had to guard what we left behind. Someone had to make sure our technology was used wisely. And someone had to protect the innocent races that would come after us. The displays showed that the pirate ships were now very close to the HFY salvage fleet. The pirates were sending threatening messages, demanding that the salvagers surrender their ships and cargo. Captain, Vixtal's voice came through the communication system. The pirates are demanding we give up our ships. They say they will destroy us if we do not surrender. Tell your ships to stay exactly where they are, Sarah-chan ordered. Do not move. Do not fight back, just wait, but they will shoot at us. No, they will not. Watch. Sarah-chan nodded to her crew. All stations report ready. Weapons ready, said Commander Rodriguez. Engines ready, said Chief Engineer Murphy. Sensors and communications ready, said Lieutenant Commander Jackson. Navigation ready, said another. Crew member Sarah-chan sat down in the command chair. As she did, her form became completely solid. She looked like a living human being again. Computer, decloak the ship. Let them see us. The Revenant had been invisible to the pirates' sensors, but now it appeared on their screens. 3 kilometers of human warship, bristling with weapons, positioned directly between the pirates and the HFY fleet. Through the communication system, they could hear the panic in the pirates' voices. Where did that ship come from? It just appeared out of nowhere. Look at the size of that thing. What race builds ships that big? Sarah-chan activated the ship's external communication system. When she spoke, her voice was broadcast to all the ships in the area. Attention pirate vessels. This is Captain Sarah-chan of the United Earthship Revenant. You are threatening innocent civilians under my protection. You have 30 seconds to turn around and leave this area. One of the pirate captains responded, with anger in his voice. This is not human space anymore. Humans are gone. You have no authority here. I have the authority of 300 human souls and the most advanced warship ever built, Sarah-chan replied calmly. You now have 20 seconds. The pirates did not leave. Instead, they began moving into attack formation around the HFY ships. 15 seconds, Sarah-chan announced. The lead pirate ship powered up its weapons and aimed them at one of the HFY salvage vessels. 10 seconds. The pirate ship prepared to fire. 5 seconds. The pirate captain's voice came over the communication system. You are outnumbered 3-1, human ghost. Even if you are real, you cannot stop all of us. Time is up, Sarah-chan said quietly. She looked at Commander Rodriguez. You may fire when ready. What happened next amazed the HFY. The Revenant did not use massive energy weapons or explosive missiles. Instead, thin beams of blue light reached out from the human ship and touched each of the pirate vessels. The pirates' ships did not explode. They simply stopped working. Their engines shut down. Their weapons powered off. Their life support systems continued to function, but everything else on their ships died. What did you do to them? Zexthel asked. We used quantum disruptors, Commander Rodriguez explained. They interrupt the flow of energy and electronic systems. The pirates are alive and safe, but their ships are completely disabled. We could have destroyed them, Sarah-chan added, but humans do not kill unless there is no other choice. We disable threats when possible, destroy them only when necessary. The pirate ships were now floating helplessly in space. Their crews were alive but trapped on vessels that could not move or fight. "This is impossible," came the voice of one pirate captain. "No weapon can shut down an entire ship like that." "Human weapons can," Sarah-Chun replied. "Now you have a choice. We can repair your ships and let you leave, but you must promise never to attack innocent people again. Or we can leave you here to think about your actions until someone else finds you." There was a long silence. Then one of the pirate captains spoke up. "We promise. We will not attack innocent ships again." "Good, but I will be watching." "There are 12 ships like mine hidden throughout this region of space. If you break your promise, one of us will find you." The Revenant's blue beams reached out again and touched the pirate ships. This time, the ship's engines came back to life. Their basic systems started working again. "Your weapons will remain disabled for 24 hours, Sarah-Chun announced. "That should give you time to think about finding a more honest way to make a living." The pirate ships slowly moved away, heading back toward whatever dark corner of space they had come from. Zexthel stared at the displays showing the retreating pirates. "You could have destroyed them easily, could you not?" "Yes," Sarah-Chun replied. "This ship has weapons that could turn those pirate vessels into dust in seconds, but that is not the human way. We believe in giving people chances to be better." "What if they had not listened? What if they had kept trying to attack?" Sarah-Chun's expression became more serious. "Then we would have stopped them permanently. Humans are peaceful by choice, not because we are weak. When someone threatens innocent people and refuses to listen to reason, we do what we must do." The human crew members began to fade away, returning to wherever in the ship's systems they resided when not needed. Soon only Sarah-Chun remained visible. "The crisis is over," she said. "Your salvage fleet is safe. What happens now?" Zexthel asked. "Now you have a choice to make. You came here looking for salvage for old technology to sell, but you have found something much more important. You have found guardians who still protect this region of space. What kind of choice?" Sarah-Chun stood up from the command chair and walked over to where the Kethver were standing. "You can leave and forget you ever found this ship. We will remove all traces of our existence from your ship's records. You can go back to your normal lives as salvagers. Or you can help us. There are threats in this part of the galaxy that we cannot handle alone. Pirates like the ones you just saw. Slavers who steal people from their homes. Warlords who conquer peaceful worlds. We need allies who can go places we cannot, who can gather information we need. You want us to become spies? I want you to become our friends. Humans have always believed that the best way to fight evil is to work together with good people from all races." Zexthel looked at his crew members. They all seemed stunned by what they had witnessed. "What would we have to do?" "Keep doing what you already do. Travel through space, visit different worlds, trade with different people, but also watch for signs of trouble. Listen for rumors about threats to innocent people, and when you find such threats, let us know." "And in return?" Sarah-Chun smiled. "In return, you will have the friendship and protection of humanity's guardians. And occasionally you will see justice served to those who prey on the innocent." The ship around them began to change again. The walls became transparent, giving them a view of space outside. They could see the Kethver salvage fleet, safe and undamaged. "Think about it," Sarah-Chun said. "You do not have to decide right now, but remember this day. Remember that there are still those who watch over the innocent, even in the darkest parts of space." As she spoke, the energy barriers reappeared, but this time they formed a pathway leading back to the airlock. "You are free to leave whenever you wish," she said. "Your ships are safe and you have an amazing story to tell." But Zexthel knew that this was more than just a story. This was a chance to be part of something bigger than just salvaging old ships. This was a chance to help protect the innocent. Zexthel did not move toward the pathway that would take them back to their ship. Instead, he stepped closer to Sarah-Chun. "Before we decide anything," he said, "I need to understand something. You said there are 12 ships like this one." "What?" exactly are you guarding against? Sarah Chun's expression became more serious. The warm lights in the room dimmed slightly, and new displays appeared on the walls. These displays showed star maps with red markers scattered across human space. When my people left this region of the galaxy, we knew that other races would move in to fill the empty space. Most of these races are good people, like your own. But we also knew that some threats would come. The displays zoomed in on different areas of the star map. Each red marker represented a different kind of danger. There are the pirates, like the ones we just dealt with. They are a small problem, easily handled. But there are worse things moving in the darkness between stars. One display showed a region of space that seemed completely empty. No stars. No planets, nothing but void. The Devourers, Sarah Chun said quietly. A machine race that consumes entire worlds to build more machines. They are still far away, but they are moving in this direction. Another display showed a different area, this one filled with dead star systems, the Grey Empire. They were once a peaceful race, but they discovered how to transfer their consciousness into machines. Now they believe that all organic life is inferior and should be eliminated. A third display showed a cluster of systems near the galactic edge, the Hunger. We are not sure what they are. Ships that appear from nowhere, take entire populations from planets, and disappear again. No one knows what happens to the people they take. Zexthel felt his blood grow cold. How do you know about these threats? Because we have been watching for 200 years. My ship and the others like it have been sending out scout drones, monitoring communications, tracking ship movements. We have been preparing for the day when these threats would reach inhabited space. Why did you not warn the other races? We tried. But who would believe stories about machine races and planet devourers told by ghost humans? Most races think we disappeared or died out. They would not listen to warnings from people they think do not exist. Kolvek stepped forward. But if these threats are real, why have we not heard of them? The Kethver have been traveling through space for many years. Because they have not reached the main trade routes yet, Sarah Chun explained. They are still on the edges of explored space in regions where few ships travel. But they are getting closer. The displays changed to show predicted movement patterns. Red arrows moved slowly but steadily toward the areas where most galactic races lived and traded. The Devourers will reach the outer colonies in approximately 50 years. The Grey Empire is moving faster. They will make contact with inhabited systems in perhaps 30 years. The Hunger is the most unpredictable, but we have detected their ships getting closer to major trade routes. What can 12 ships do against threats like this? Zexthel asked. Sarah Chun walked over to the main display, which showed the technical specifications of the Revenant. Each of our ships is more powerful than most fleet battle groups. But you are right, 12 ships cannot protect an entire region of space. That is why we need allies. Allies to do what? To help us prepare the other races. To gather information about the threats. To help coordinate defenses when the time comes. And most importantly, to help us wake up the rest of our fleet. The rest of your fleet? Sarah Chun nodded. The 12. Guardianships were just the first part of humanity's plan. Hidden throughout this region of space are hundreds of other human ships, all waiting to be awakened when they are needed. The main display changed to show a three-dimensional map of local space. Hundreds of small dots appeared scattered throughout the region. Sleeper ships. Each one contains human technology and human consciousnesses in deep storage. They are waiting for the Guardian ships to send them the activation codes. How many ships? 873. Cruisers, destroyers, support vessels, and ships designed for purposes you cannot imagine. When they are all awakened, they will form the most powerful fleet this galaxy has ever seen. Zexthel stared at the map. Nearly 900 human ships. Hidden and waiting, it was almost impossible to believe. Why did humans build so many ships if they were planning to leave? Because leaving was never the only plan, Sarah Chun explained. Some humans chose to explore beyond this galaxy. Others chose to become guardians, watching over the races that would come after us. and others chose to sleep, waiting for the day when they might be needed to protect innocent life. But it means that humanity never really left. We just changed forms. We became something that could wait as long as necessary and act when action was needed. The room around them began to change again. The walls became transparent, showing not just the space outside, but somehow displaying the hidden human ships scattered throughout the region. It was like looking at a secret network that spanned dozens of star systems. Each sleeper ship is hidden near a major trade route or important world, Sarah Chun continued. When the threats arrive, these ships will awaken and defend the innocent. But they need time to prepare, and they need information about what they will be facing. What kind of information? Ship designs, weapon capabilities, attack patterns, population centers that need defending. A kind of information that can only be gathered by people who travel freely through space and trade with many different races. Zexthel began to understand. People like us. Exactly. Salvagers, traders, explorers, you go places that military ships cannot go. You hear rumors and stories that official channels miss. You can gather intelligence without anyone suspecting what you are really doing. Commander Rodriguez appeared. Again, her form becoming solid as she joined the conversation. Captain, she said to Sarah Chun, I have been monitoring communications from the pirate ships we disabled. They were not acting alone. Explain. They were part of a larger pirate organization. At least 50 ships, possibly more. They have been taking orders from someone they call the Admiral. Someone is organizing pirates throughout this region of space. Sarah Chun's expression became grim. Show me. The displays changed to show communication intercepts from the pirate ships. The messages were in several different languages, but the ship's computer translated them automatically. The Admiral wants all salvage operations in Sector 7 stopped, Rodriguez read from one message. Any civilians found salvaging in that area are to be captured, not killed. Their ships and crews are needed for the project. What project? Zexthel asked. We are not sure yet, Sarah Chun replied. But this is exactly the kind of threat intelligence we need to gather. Pirates working together under a single leader, capturing civilians instead of just robbing them. This suggests something bigger is happening. More messages appeared on the displays. References to the facility and the deadline and Phase 2 of the operation. Captain, said Chief Engineer Murphy, appearing at another control station, I have been analyzing the energy signatures from those pirate ships. They have been modified with technology that is not from any known race. What kind of technology? Unknown, but it is very advanced. More advanced than anything pirates should have access to. Sarah Chun stood quietly, for a moment processing this information. When she spoke again, her voice was firm and determined. This changes things. We thought we had decades before the major threats arrived. But if someone is already organizing pirates and giving them advanced technology, the timeline may be much shorter. She turned to Zexthel and his crew. I'm not going to ask you to make a decision about helping us. I'm going to tell you what is happening and let you choose what kind of people you want to be. The displays around the room showed images of peaceful worlds, busy trade stations, and families living normal lives throughout the galaxy. All of these people are in danger. Not just from the big threats that are coming in decades, but from whatever is happening right now with these organized pirates. Innocent people are being captured. Civilians are disappearing. Someone is building something in secret, and they are using stolen ships and kidnapped crews to do it. What can we do? Zexthel asked. We are just salvagers. You are more than that. You are free citizens of a peaceful race. You travel throughout space and meet people from many worlds. You have the chance to make a difference. Sarah Chun walked over to a control panel and pressed several buttons. A small device appeared. From the wall, something that looked like a communication device, but more advanced than anything the Kethra had seen. If you choose to help us, take this communicator. It will let you contact any of the 12 Guardian ships instantly, no matter where you are. When you hear rumors about threats to innocent people, or when you find evidence of organized criminal activity, let us know, and if we choose not to help, then you go back to your normal lives and we will respect that choice. But remember that evil succeeds when good people choose to do nothing? Zexthel looked at the communication device. It was small and simple looking, but he knew it represented a connection to the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. If we take this, what will you ask us to do? Nothing that goes against your nature. Continue salvaging, continue trading, continue living your lives, but keep your eyes and ears open. When you find evidence of threats to innocent people, share that information with us. And what will you do with that information? Sarah Chun smiled, but it was not a gentle smile. It was the smile of someone who had spent 200 years preparing to protect the innocent. We will do what humans have always done when faced with bullies and predators. We will stop them. The communication device sat on the control panel between them, waiting for Zexthel's decision. There's something else you should know, Sarah Chun added. If you agree to help us, you will not be alone. There are already other allies throughout this region of space. Good people from many races who have chosen to work with us. How many others? Enough. When the time comes to act, you will not be the only one standing against the darkness. Zexthel reached for the communication device. As his clawed fingers touched it, he felt a slight warm sensation, as if the device was recognizing him. We will help, he said. Sarah Chun nodded approvingly. Welcome to the Alliance, Captain Zexthel. Together, we will make sure that the innocent have protectors in the darkness of space. But neither of them knew that their decision to work together would awaken something much larger than just the human fleet. Something that had been sleeping even longer than the Guardian ships was about to wake up. 3 months had passed since Zexthel and his crew had first encountered the Revenant. In that time, they had continued their salvaging work, but now they also served as information gatherers for the human Guardians. The small communication device Sarah Chun had given them had proven invaluable, connecting them to a network of allies they had never known existed during those months. They had reported 17 different incidents of organized pirate activity. Each time, one of the Guardian ships had responded, either stopping the pirates directly or coordinating with local authorities to handle the situation. The galaxy was becoming a safer place, bit by bit, but today was different. Today, Zexthel's ship was approaching a region of space that had been marked as highly dangerous on their star charts. They were investigating reports of an entire colony that had vanished without sending any distress signals. Captain, Vixtel called from his sensor station. We are detecting the colony world ahead, but something is very wrong. What do you mean? The planet is there, but I am not reading any cities, any settlements, any signs of civilization at all. It is like no one ever lived there. Zexthel moved to look at the sensor displays. Vixtel was right. The planet showed up clearly on their scanners, but there were no energy signatures, no radio signals, no evidence that millions of people had once lived there. Are you sure this is the right planet? Yes, Captain. The star system matches our navigation data perfectly. This should be the colony world of New Haven, but there is nothing here. Zexthel activated the communication device Sarah Chun had given him. Within seconds, her voice came through clearly, as if she was standing right next to him. Captain Zexthel, what can I do for you? We have found something very disturbing. An entire colony has disappeared. Not destroyed, disappeared. There's no trace that anyone ever lived here. There was a long pause before Sarah Chun responded. When she did, her voice sounded troubled. Send us your exact coordinates. We are coming to investigate immediately. How long will it take you to get here? We are already on our way. The Revenant can travel much faster than your ship. Within an hour, the massive human warship appeared in the system. But this time it was not alone. 2 other ships accompanied it. Both of them different designs, but clearly human in origin. Sarah Chun's voice came over the communication system. Captain Zexthel, please prepare to receive guests. We are sending a joint investigation team to your ship. The airlock on Zexthel's ship opened to admit not just Sarah Chun, but 2 other human consciousnesses. One was a tall woman with silver hair who introduced herself as Captain Maria Santos of the U.S. Vigilant. The other was a younger-looking man named Captain David Park of the UES Sentinel. 3 Guardian ships? Zexthel asked. This must be very serious. It is, Sarah Chun replied. We have been tracking similar disappearances throughout this region of space. 7 colonies in the past 6 months. All of them completely vanished without a trace. Captain Santos moved to the sensor displays and began studying the readings from the planet below. The pattern is always the same. No distress signals, no signs of battle, no debris in space. It is as if the people simply ceased to exist. But that is impossible, Kolvek said. You cannot make millions of people disappear without leaving some evidence. Captain Park nodded grimly. That is what we thought too. But we have been investigating these disappearances for months. We have scanned the planets, analyzed the space around them, even sent down exploration teams. Nothing. What do you think is happening to them? Sarah Chun looked at the other 2 captains before answering. We think they are being taken somewhere. All of them. Entire populations harvested for some unknown purpose. By who? We do not know yet. But we have detected some unusual energy signatures at each of the disappeared colonies. Signatures that do not match any known technology. Captain Santos activated a holographic display that showed the energy readings. These signatures appear just before each colony vanishes. They last for approximately 6 hours, then disappear along with the entire population. 6 hours, Zexthel repeated. What could remove millions of people in 6 hours? Something with technology far beyond what any of the current galactic races possess. Captain Park replied. Sarah Chun moved closer to the display. But there is something else. Something that concerns us even more. The holographic display changed to show a star map of the local region. The disappeared colonies were marked with red dots, and lines connected them in a pattern. The disappearances are not random, she explained. They are following a specific route through space, moving toward the galactic core. Whatever is taking these people is heading somewhere specific. Where? We are not sure. But if the pattern continues, the next target will be one of the major trade hubs. Millions more people could disappear. Zexthel studied the pattern on the star map. What can we do to stop it? First, we need more information. We need to find out what is taking these people and where they are being taken. Then we need to find a way to stop it. Captain Santos stepped forward. That is why we need your help, Captain Zexthel. Your ship is small and fast. You can investigate areas that our larger ships might have trouble reaching. What do you want us to do? Sarah Chun pointed to a location on the star map. There is an abandoned research station in the Kethverholm system. Our records show that it was studying something called dimensional translation technology before it was shut down 50 years ago. I know that station, Zexthel said. It was closed because the experiments were considered too dangerous. Exactly. But the energy signatures we detected at the disappeared colonies match theoretical predictions for dimensional translation technology. We think someone has found a way to make it work. You think someone is using dimensional technology to steal entire populations? It would explain how they can move millions of people without leaving any trace, Captain Park said. If they can shift people into a different dimension, they would effectively disappear from our reality. Kolvex looked worried. But why would anyone want to steal so many people? That is what we need to find out, Sarah Chun replied. Will you investigate the research station for us? Zexthel thought about the millions of innocent people who had already disappeared. Of course. When do we leave? Immediately. But be very careful. If someone is willing to steal entire colonies, they will not hesitate to eliminate a small salvage ship that gets too close to their secrets. The 3 human captains prepared to return to their ships. But before they left, Sarah Chun had one more thing to say. Captain Zexthel, you should know that this situation has caused us to accelerate our timeline. We are beginning to wake up some of the sleeper ships. If this threat is as serious as we believe, we may need the full fleet sooner than we expected. How many ships are you waking up? To start with 50 ships, enough to provide protection for the major trade routes and population centers. But if the threat continues to grow, we will wake up more. After the human captains left, Zexthal's ship set course for the abandoned research station. As they traveled through hyperspace, Zexthal could not stop thinking about what they had learned. Someone or something with incredible technology was stealing entire populations. The human guardians were awakening their hidden fleet to deal with the threat, and his small salvage ship was about to investigate what might be the key to understanding the whole situation. "Captain," Vixtal said from his station, "we are approaching the research station, but I am detecting something unusual." "What is it?" "The station is not abandoned. There are ships docked there, several of them, and they are not Kethver designs." Zexthal moved to look at the sensor displays. Vixtal was right. The supposedly abandoned research station was very much active, with at least a dozen ships of unknown design docked at its ports. "Can you identify the ships?" "No, Captain. The designs are completely unfamiliar, but they are heavily armed. Back us away slowly. Do not let them detect us." But it was too late. Alarms began sounding on their ship as unknown energy beams locked onto them. A voice came over their communication system, speaking in a language their computer could not translate, but the threatening tone was clear in any language. "Captain," Kovac said urgently, "they are powering up weapons. Whatever they are doing at that station, they do not want witnesses." Zexthal activated the human communication device. "Sarah Chun, we need immediate assistance. We have found the source of the disappearances and we are about to be attacked." Sarah Chun's voice came back instantly. "Hold on, Captain. Help is coming." The unknown ships began firing at Zexthal's vessel. Their shields held for the moment, but would not last long against the concentrated firepower. Then space around them filled with light as 3 human guardian ships dropped out of hyperspace. But they were not alone. With them came 50 other vessels, the awakened sleeper ships, emerging from their long slumber to protect the innocent once again. The battle for the research station was about to begin, and with it, the revelation of who had been stealing entire populations and why. As energy beams flashed between the human ships and the unknown attackers, Zexthal realized that this was no longer just about missing colonies. This was the beginning of a war between humanity's guardians and something that threatened all life. In the galaxy, the weapon that should never have been awakened was not the human fleet. It was whatever had been hiding at that research station, using dimensional technology to harvest entire civilizations. And now both sides were awake and ready to fight.